Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the December Plan With Me video. I'm so happy to be sharing this video with you. I think my spreads turned out really great. But before we get into the Plan With Me, we're flipping through November. So for November I had this Lord of the Rings theme and I thought it was really great. I love the sort of artwork I did, and the only thing I didn't like was using Dutch doors for my weekly spreads because I kind of missed having 4 different creative ideas. So I'll be turning that around this month. Now let's get into my December theme. So for December I wanted to do something Christmassy, but not too Christmas, you know, like not over the top Christmas, but just very, very subtle hints to Christmas. And first I started thinking about doing Christmas song quotes, but yeah, I didn't really know how to make that creative or innovative. Keeping with Christmas quotes, I always think of it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And for me, looking like Christmas is kind of somber and grayish and rainy because that's mostly the weather around Christmas. But that's not really romantic either, so I went with a more romantic, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, so I stuck with a sort of snowy dew theme with pine trees and just snowy landscapes and just looking inside houses into the distance where there are lights burning. And for me that is also the essence of Christmas, so that's my theme this month. Now what you're seeing right now is me actually doing my opening spread. So I actually love doing watercolor artwork for my opening spread, and I use a watercolor paper for it because it just watercolors a lot better. It takes the water, it doesn't wrinkle as much, it can handle multiple layers of water as well. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm always using a Kuretake watercolor set that I got off Amazon. I'll make sure to link it down below or provide you the information on that. And the scene I'm creating right now is just a very easy snowy landscape with some pine trees and other trees, some snow, and just a house in the distance with the lights burning inside. And for the lights I had a very metallic water paint, and I'm not sure if it picks up on camera, but it's really metallic, so it really, if you look at it from the side, it's really glowy, and I think this spread turned out really, really great. And I'm really happy with it. So now onto my actual bullet journal. So I have a spread right here where December is going to start. And I'm just gonna stick the watercolor paper painting we did right on top of it. And now some people may find it annoying that your pages get really thick if you stick this inside your journal, but I actually love it because it gives your journal a very used look, and that always makes me happy for some reason. Anyway, just sticking it right on top and cutting off the edges that stick out. By the way, I've learned from experience that it's easiest to stick the paper down on one side, so one half of the spread, and then create a sort of crease in the middle where the page is folding. Does that make sense? Anyway, in the middle you need the crease to be there before you stick down the other half, otherwise it may turn out ugly. Yeah, I'm not sure if this makes any sense. Just stick down one half first, make a crease, and then the other. So right now I'm just writing down December on top, and I sort of wanted to give it a sort of dimension, so I created this little background in the snow, and that's it. So on to the monthly overview. Now here I did the same theme, so snowy landscape, pine trees, and house in the distance. but with a calendar on top. There's not really much to say about it. Now, I'm gonna say I'm not an expert at watercoloring, but what I've definitely learned with watercolor is that you don't need to color perfect, and it looks even better than if you try to be perfect. I'm not sure how that works, but watercolor is it's a strange sort of art. It's very different from usual painting or drawing. For me, watercoloring is all about not worrying about colors blending or there being empty spaces or color being slightly off. It's all fine. Usually it looks better if you don't blend or if things just flow naturally. So about my calendar, I used to do quite square tiles for my calendar, just because you have more space to write down in. But for the month of December, I don't have that much planned, actually. I'm doing an internship for my master's, but it's finished at the 3rd week of December. And then I have Christmas holidays for 2 weeks, so I'm really looking forward to that. But it's the holidays, so I don't have a lot planned, and I don't need a lot of space for it. So I went with the same small square, not squares. I went with the same small rectangles as I did in November, because that worked out quite alright. Now, for my trackers, I'm actually doing something really new. I'm switching my trackers from mood and time tracker to mood and habit tracker. You might say, why? You always said you love doing your time and mood tracker. And that's still true. I love doing time and mood trackers, but I haven't been looking back to my time trackers as much and really drawing conclusions from them. And I've been wanting to track some habits that I had no space for in my bullet journal. So I figured I'd change those two. So I'm not doing a time tracker, but still setting it up in my weekly setup, just because I couldn't help myself. You'll see in a bit. But I am setting up a habit tracker, which I haven't done in about a year or so. So I'm really curious how that works out. And for the lettering, I actually had this great thing. I came up with this idea of letter style back in January, I believe. And it's just basically letters, but with twinkling lights wrapped around them. And I love this lettering style so much. I'm thinking of just adding words in other spreads, just to be able to do this type of lettering. And if you want to try it out, it's really simple. Just draw big letters, stick some lines around them with like small dots or something. Yeah, just like twinkling lights. Color them yellow or goldish, and you're all set. So here I'm just drawing out 31 days for the month of December and adding the habits that I came up with that I wanted to track. And I don't know why I did this, but I wrote them down from the last letter of the word to the first letter, just so they would line up. I know, it's crazy, but it gives me such satisfaction to have them lined up. But it was a big pain. I'm not doing that again. Now on top of the page, I'm just adding some stars to give it a sort of decorative look, and make it kind of Christmassy again. I couldn't help myself. Come on. We all love Christmas, right? If you don't, get out of here. No, please stay. And I thought it was still lacking some, you know, things on the bottom. So I thought, well, why not stick with the theme? Do a snowy landscape with some pine trees. So that's what I did, and I think it really finishes off this spread, and the stars give it the sparkly bit that I had in the houses. So I think the balance is quite nice. Now lastly, I'm setting up a weekly spread. With my weekly spreads, I change up the layout quite a bit, because I always find that 1 week I needed a certain layout, and then when I do the layout 3 weeks later, I don't need layout then. So still figuring out which layouts work for me always. I'm trying something new this month. Firstly by doing this calendar blocking sort of layout, I think it's called. So basically you just create a time calendar for the hours you want to be doing stuff, or at least planning to do stuff. So for me that's between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's usually the hours I'm working or doing stuff, and outside of those hours I'm just doing hobbies or whatever, not planning stuff at least. So I created these vertical blocks, each representing a day. Divided one for Saturday and Sunday. Then I had the gold paint again, the metallic paint, to draw in the bars where I'm gonna write down the days of the week. And to finish it all off, I'm going with a snowy landscape with pine trees. But I think it all looks great together. I really love the color combination of the blue, gray, greenish of the trees, and then the metallic gold for all the details. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with all these spreads. And this is me testing to see if the paint is dry, which it wasn't, so I just went over with a paper towel to take off excess moisture so I could write down on top of it. Still not dry. And there we go. So, on to the final flip through. You can see when I turn the page that the metallic really is really metallic. So here's a close-up of my opening spread. It's actually quite simple, any idiot could do it. Just look up snowy landscape on Pinterest and you'll find a lot of pictures that I also used for inspiration. There's no shame in that. And then here's my monthly overview. It's really simple. But that's what I really like about it, and then the details give it some fun, and I kept it quite clean this month, and I think I'm gonna try to keep this kind of style for the next month because I actually quite love it. Now my trackers, really the thing that makes these trackers is the gold stars, because they add such a fun element, and then every time you turn the page they sparkle. I mean, come on, that's amazing. And lastly, my weekly spread. I quite like this weekly layout and I'm really curious to see how it works out. Oh, by the way, the extra vertical line is where I want to keep track of my time spendage. I'm not sure if I'll actually do it. And that's it, you guys. The end of my December plan with me. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and leave a comment down below with just anything really. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys another time. Bye bye.